Hello, my name is Francisco Silva, and this is part number 3 of the Discovering Your Purpose series. And in fact, it's a continuation of the previous one, the previous video in which I did, and the topic in which I discussed was the fact that your purpose influences the status or the position of where you are supposed to function on this earth. And it's a very important topic, and I use an analogy or example that was very easy for everyone to comprehend. For example, again, I was using the steering wheel of the car, and because of the purpose of the steering wheel of the car, it influenced where it would be placed within the vehicle itself. And as long as the steering wheel stayed in its positioning, in its proper place where it was always destined to be, then its use will always be effective. Because within every person or product in this case, it always will carry the capacity or the capability to actually fill its role. However, that very product that's currently effective will be ineffective if it attempts to move out of positioning, because at that point it's going to be trying to do something that it was never destined to do. In other words, it's ineffective because it was only designed to do one thing, and yet is doing something else. Now, when this statement is heard for the first time or understood, it may potentially cause people to maybe be envious or jealous of other people's purposes. You may think that the purpose in which God created or put in you may be inferior to somebody else's purpose. But that's not the case. Your purpose is never inferior to somebody else. It's as important. Because if I were to ask you right now, what's the most important component of a vehicle, the majority will say the engine of the car. Well, how good is a powerful engine if it cannot be controlled? Therefore, the steering wheel is as important as the engine that's found in the car. Again, my point is that no purpose is ever more important than the next. Consider this as another example. You have two great legs, okay? However, your brain, there's currently something wrong with its functioning, and it's causing you to be paralyzed from your waist down. How good are your legs when your brain is currently not doing its role or its part? So the body works when every part does their part, but also sticks to their part. The other point in which I'm trying to make is that purpose in general is interdependent, meaning everyone's purpose is somewhat connected, and it is connected. And I'm going to use a scripture in which I really like, which I believe is going to benefit and bless everyone. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12. Okay, I'm pulling it up right now, and I'm going to read it really quickly out loud from the NIV version. Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its parts form one body. Again, the fingers is dependent on the hand. The hand is dependent on the arm. The arm is dependent on the shoulder. So every single part needs each other in order for it to function well. What I'm trying to say, in other words, is that your purpose is always connected to a higher purpose. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up by reading a quote from the book Unleash Your Purpose from Dr. Miles Monroe. And I'm going to read directly from page number 5 in a section that I think it's going to put this specific topic a little bit more clear. All right? It says, the purpose of a battery is to store energy until it is needed. If the battery is never placed into a position that requires its stored energy, it cannot fulfill its purpose. The satisfaction of its purpose is related to its positioning in a product that has a larger purpose. So a car battery cannot fulfill its purpose unless you turn the key in the ignition and allow the battery to send power to the engine, which starts the engine that powers the wheels that moves the car. Without all the other parts, neither the battery, the engine, the wheels, nor the car can fulfill their purposes. Everything needs something. The world needs you and the purpose for which you were born. You also need the purposes of others in order to fulfill your purpose. Purpose can never be fulfilled in isolation. Now, if you have any specific questions, my personal detail and information can be found there in the description of the YouTube. Please feel free to reach out to you. I would love to personally assist you.